So this is the third attempt at it. Let's see if we can get this stream up and running. If you guys have been here for the last two, you will know. It's been a late. Oh, there we go. Yes, we are finally up, I do believe. Right, wonderful. Let's see if we can get this one going. So, for those of you who are checking in right now, hopefully you can see what I can see. That would be ideal. We're doing a little stream. I'm just going to try set everything up here because, as you may know if you've been viewing, we've been doing this channel for, about 2 years now almost, but we haven't really done any streaming. So I'm going to warn you right now, things are not going to be the most professional as we just learn what's going on over time. So hopefully you can see something on your screen at least. I'm not really sure what's going on with this whole streaming process, but I'm just right now setting up the title and that sort of stuff behind the scenes. I know you cannot see it on your screen. Hopefully you can see this AMC chart. And again, if you are here, if you can see anything, do drop me a comment to help me know that it is at least working. That would be ideal. But yes, we're just trying to work through this one and get it set up. So I'm going to just add in the title and add on the thumbnail right now, which is actually a harder process than it would actually appear to be. So create thumbnail and actually upload it because we already have it. And hopefully we can get the AMC thumbnail that I included early on. So I'm just going to type in the code for that, and that is 0.22. There we go. Right, so this should be the thumbnail coming on now as well. Make it look a little bit more professional and that sort of stuff. And we should be live, so hopefully we can get some people in this stream as time does go on. We'll just check the analytics to see if anybody is joining, and apparently at the time of present that is not the case. So if you can hear me and if these statistics are taking a moment to update, that is fine. Again, please do just bear with me as this is the first time we have done this on the channel, so it's going to be a lengthy process to fully understand it, but yeah, hopefully we can work through it. I'm just going to set up this data as well, which shows me right now in real time what is going on. And yes, we do have the right chart up, so we should be live. Just going to make sure that it is also available for anybody to see because it could potentially be private, as like I said, I do not 100% understand this process. So just going to make sure everything's 100% right. Again, within about 5 minutes or so, there we go, private. Okay, private. So we're going to make that public. Perfect. Yes. Right, so that's actually brilliant. Now we really are live. I've basically refined it. Just going to check the analytics to see if anybody is joining on. We've got the thumbnail on now. We've got this one set up because previously I was unfortunately doing it in private, and the time before that it was actually without sound. So if you are joining us on live, thank you, welcome. It's the first time we've done this on the channel in our almost 2-year history. You guys should be coming in quite soon, as I did see that some people actually joined the live stream the first time. So, as the title does say, it is an AMC live stream, but I am willing to do other things. If you can see my screen, which you hopefully should be able to do, I've got the chart on Yahoo Finance, which can basically bring up stocks and crypto. I've got the trading view chart, and I also have coinmarketcap.com. So, okay, here we have our first viewer. Welcome to the stream. I'm just explaining the process of what we are doing. We're setting everything up and getting ready because if you are new to the channel or if you even have been here for a while, you'll know that we haven't really done live streams in the past. So if you can drop me a comment, if you can hear me, that would be useful as well. Again, just getting everything ready for what we're seeing. And over the past day with AMC, well, it's been a mixed story. We're looking at a day where we're declining by 1.8%. I actually want to take some time to talk about this. I gave a little bit of a few of my thoughts about this one this morning, and I thought it could be a mixed day. I thought it was more likely, though, than anything, that it was probably going to go down a bit further. Because as I have said before with AMC, of course I'm bullish on it. I want it to succeed, both short and long term. But what we're looking at here is something where they're not going to want to give up easily. And we need to remember that. So, whilst we've seen this one decline today, I know some people are going to see this as another negative, and especially when we look out to the past 5 or so days, we've seen that consecutive decline right now, but we already know what's going on behind the scenes, and more of that good DD is what I intend to share with you in this live stream and in the future as well. So we're just going to wait for this stream to get a little bit more lively. Again, the first time that we did it, some people did join, and yes, it is confirmed now that we have 2 people watching. Just checking on my other device that you can see everything clearly, and it does appear to be the case to an extent. It appears to be a little bit cropped, so I'll try and work on that one right now. And again, if you are here for the first time, as I said, it is going to be a little bit hectic, as we don't really, or at least we haven't done this in the past, and it is just about fine-tuning what we're looking at. So please do tell me if the screen increases in size. It is something which I'm trying to work out. And if you do have any clues whatsoever and you can help, that would be useful. But yes, just fine-tuning everything right now. So yeah, now we have about 3 viewers, which is fantastic. We're going to be getting into this one in just a moment. And again, if this does go quite well, perhaps we may do it more into future days, because I do quite enjoy making the videos for you guys. And I did actually put out a poll not too long ago. A lot of you said that you would enjoy live streaming, so yeah, I can bring that to you. Obviously not every day, as it is quite time intensive, but is it something that I can do for you? Of course it really is. But yeah, now we're getting a few people joining in. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm just working on everything, getting it set up well, because we haven't done this before, and it is something that we're working at. So I'm going to put this down to this resolution and see if that changes anything. Hopefully it does. But now we're just going to get on with the stream. So just checking it on my other device, seeing if it looks any clearer. And apparently it doesn't. So that's a bit confusing. But if you have any idea, please drop me a comment. But yeah, we're going to just crack on with this one, and I'll get it sorted out at another time. So AMC for the day. We're looking at this one falling down today by about 1.25%. Is that a surprise? Honestly, for me, it really isn't, as I did say earlier on, because with AMC, we all know that this one is probably going to do well, in the sense that the catalysts are there for us, the potential of the MOAS is great, and the potential of it happening relatively soon, well, it's becoming stronger than ever. So I'm feeling bullish about AMC still, as I have been for a while, but I do think it is also the case that they are going to try and force this one down lower and lower before we do actually hit that MOAS, because in a sense, I do believe it is something that they would probably want to do. Because when we think about it, really, with the MOAS, they would be giving out quite a lot of money, and it's not something which they're going to want to hand out straight away. So I think we are probably going to have to wait a little bit longer. But yes. So the chart for AMC on the 1 day, if we're having a look at this, it's a continuous decline. And for the past 5 days as well, we're seeing this decline over the past week. We're not really even seeing a green day in this time period. And if I do have the extra time in just a little while, I'll be publishing that content with you in a detailed video. But we're just seeing a continuous downtrend with AMC. And as I have said in the past, we know what the statistics look like when it comes to things like inflow and outflow. We know the ratio of people buying AMC to selling it. It is relatively high. If anything, a lot more people are buying AMC than are selling it. So if that is the case, why is the price continuing to drop on a very frequent basis? Well, of course, a lot of people are pointing to that manipulation, and I think it really is becoming more and more apparent. Now, if you have been browsing Reddit throughout the day, which is something which I actually have been doing, you will have found that, some of the latest videos that we've noticed when it comes to, talk about manipulation in the markets. I think this is just coming to a head right now, in the sense that when we come and have a look out at the wider market, and we will do that right now, just before we do finish, so we're going to have a look at the S&P and how that one's doing, but we'll have a look at a few of the others as well. So we'll actually start off by the Dow and how that one is doing. So the Dow for the day is falling down a little bit, we can see, and if we have a look at a few of the others, like I said, the S&P for the day, let's have a look at how that one is doing if we can. Okay, so that's going to be SPY. Bring it up, SPY, have a look at how it is doing. And this gives us an indication. So not too bad, to be honest. It's not an amazing day, really. We're not looking at big gains, but it is quite flat, which is a good sign. Now, one thing that I mentioned in a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I spoke about the fact that AMC is not doing too bad, in my opinion, due to the fact that if we think about where this one is in relation to the wider market, the markets as a whole are falling. we're seeing a lot of drops on a lot of key stocks, on a lot of meme stocks, especially as people do call them, and across crypto as well, things are falling consecutively and continuously. And when we think about that and tie it back into where AMC is, and under the amount of manipulation that we are seeing with AMC, are things looking too bad? I personally do not think they are. I think if anything, it shows the strength of where we are. Because if we think about this one, we have a lot of people holding it. We have a lot of people who are short on this as well. And if that is the case, why are we able to remain quite stable and quite, relatively similar to the other stocks and the broader market? Basically, you would expect this one to be dropping big time, and actually out of the range of the wider market. But the wider market, especially in the past day, and really in the past 5 days, especially yesterday, by the way, it was falling big. So now we're seeing AMC continue to fall a little bit, but it's really not too out of line with the market. And one thing that I also tried to explain this morning, if you guys did watch that short video that I made, I understand that when we have a look at things like the S&P, like the Dow, and these are dropping by something like, a couple of percent, 1%, 1.5% in the day, it doesn't look too big. But obviously, these things don't really tend to move that much on a daily basis. In the sense that, 1% move here, a 2%, a 5% move, especially, like a 1 to 2% move on the S&P, for example, that is a relatively big move. And I know that the bears do try to use this one in their strategy to show that AMC is doing abysmally well. But when we have a look at some other quote-unquote meme stocks, if you will, we'll bring up one which is RIVN, which is just one example. We can have a look at many more. RIVN, that's one of the ones which people have had their eyes on quite recently. That is falling down to the $86 level today from where it found the support at about 100. Now, when we have a look at other stocks and the less meme stocks, but also what some may consider to be overvalued, let's have a look at Tesla. Now, Tesla is down today as well. Long story is, it's a red market, for the wider market as well as AMC, and that allows me to feel a little bit more comfortable. But once more, getting back into the trend that we are noticing over here, and I want to go out to this chart, which is going to be over on TradingView. So I'm going to refresh the page to get rid of this advertisement, and I want to highlight what we are seeing as far as levels are concerned. So for some reason, it always brings up AMC USD as a crypto, but we are going to bring it up as the actual stock, highlight it, and look at the patterns that we are seeing. So not too long to go until the market shuts, honestly, about 10 minutes, so not too bad. But what we notice for this stock on the 1 day is we're finding that bottom now coming out to the level of about, if we have a look down here, it's about 22.14, so not really too far away from where we are right now, and we want to see that bottom level being maintained. Now, it's a level that we found quite recently, just for the past few moments, so hopefully that can maintain itself and bounce up again into the rest of the day, i.e. the last 10 minutes, but I don't really think it matters too much. What I'm trying to say there is, we're starting to find that level of a bottom kind of with AMC, and it does appear to be in the mid to low 22s for the time being, which is fairly okay. I'm happy with that one, and hopefully we are looking to see that little bit of a trend bounce back into tomorrow. Now, as far as the trend bounce back is concerned, what am I expecting? Not really too much, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. I think with AMC, patience does pay, in the sense that the mass is highly likely, but the amount of time it may take may be a little bit longer than we initially hoped. But we're seeing it now on Twitter, across the globe actually. It's trending in the sense that we're having AMC day trending and other, AMC related terms being very, very popular on Twitter and other social media sites. And this really is a breakthrough and a milestone, because it shows that even after a year, the 8s for AMC are still here supporting the stock. We'll come in now to the 1 minute chart whilst we are coming towards the end of the day. And look at this, it is quite low. Now I'm going to go back to the Yahoo Finance chart and have a look at what we're seeing for volume down here. And I want to do this on the 1 month and highlight today's volume. So today's volume is highlighted here, if you can see this on screen. I do understand it is cropped for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure as to why. But yeah, we're seeing a figure down here where the volume is 50.2 million according to Yahoo Finance. And that actually is quite high actually for AMC. We usually expect volume with a stock like this to be okay, if people are buying it, if people are selling it. But what we know about AMC is a lot of people are buying it and not too many people appear to be selling it. And if that's true, why is the price, one, dropping, but also why is volume so high? We already know what we found out in the past year when it comes to the amount of times the float of AMC was actually traded. It was significantly more times than the actual float is. So basically we've essentially sold the entire float and then it's been bought back again. Not in a short selling way, but what I'm trying to say is in the sense that people have apparently sold all their shares and bought back in. Now, I do not believe that for a second. I think it does point to the potential of synthetic shares, fake shares being out there. And I don't think it's very even hard to find out anymore. It's very apparent. Everybody pretty much knows about it if you have done some research. And it is very apparent with the figures that we are seeing. We're seeing very, very high numbers when it comes to AMC shares, being turning over. But obviously, if most people in a community of 4.1 million are continuing to hold, why is the turnover figure so high? It just does not make sense factually. We've already known for a while that the stuff with AMC when it comes to the numbers is not the most accurate looking, but I think it is becoming more and more apparent, as I have said. And right now, with the trending on Twitter and all of that sort of information, my question is, where do we go with it? What happens with it now? Because I don't think this can go on forever. The initial plan from the hedge funds was probably a case of, let's wait for this one, hope that they sell essentially, and that isn't happening. People are just buying in more and more and more. And in that scenario, what do? Now, this also gets me speaking on the fact of what is going on with the share price right now. I have a lot of people asking me my opinion on what's going on with the share price, in the sense of, if AMC is doing so well, if so many people are buying in, then why are they, continuing to drive the price lower if it is inevitable that they must cover? And I do have a theory for this. Now, I must state as well, it's only a theory and it's only my opinion. But I think what they're trying to do is make this look 100% believable. Now, do we believe it? Of course we do not. But I think that is their intention, to make this one look like it is something that we can believe. So, what do I mean by this? We have the chart out here on Yahoo Finance, but to make it a bit more easy to read, we're going to bring up the candlestick chart. So candles, and you'll see this trend that I am seeing as well. And even on the year to date, to zoom out a little bit, it becomes even more apparent, over the past year, as in 2021. So they've sent the stock from a price of about $2 all the way up to this high, which was around about $17, I believe it was. So yeah, just about $20. Now, from that point at $20, they tried to convince us that the squeeze was over, and not really anybody was buying it. The price went lower, it dipped, and then we had that rip up, that iconic rip up that we saw in this period around June. And it didn't really take us too long to rip to those high levels, and it was pretty phenomenal that we did that. But I think what they've been trying to do ever since is find a way that makes this look believable. So what do I mean by that? If they were to just tank the price overnight, for example, do what they did here, continuously down to $5, $10, who's going to believe that? It just looks illegitimate. It looks unreal. Whereas what they're kind of doing here, I think they're trying to do this in a way that makes it look more believable, because we've seen this downtrend continuing over time for the past 3-4 months. And this is a theory that I've mentioned in a few of my videos earlier on, both today and recently in the past. I think they're trying to drive it down slowly so it looks like it's happening due to natural market factors, and basically show that the stock isn't worth what it is currently sat at. Now, like I said, are people going to buy this? I do not believe they are, but I do think it is something that they could be trying. Now, another thing that makes me believe this even more is when we look to the candlestick that we saw around, if we have a look where we were most recently, around these few days here. Because if you do remember, these were the days, or one of these was the day, that we had a really phenomenal revenue result, I believe it was, or viewer result. I think it was for the Spider-Man movie. And I think what they were trying to show is, oh, okay, when the stock is doing fundamentally great, it can run up, but overall, it's a stock that's going to go down. Now, again, does anybody believe in that one? Probably they are not going to believe that one. And I think, when we do our actual DD, it looks more and more legit on our behalf, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I do think they're going to try to do everything that they can to make these drops look legitimate. Now, the question into both tomorrow and into next week, being as today is Thursday, so tomorrow is going to be our last day of trading. What is going to happen for tomorrow? Well, like I always say, I'm not here to give you advice. I am not a professional, do remember that, but I do want to share a few of my opinions. Now, here's my opinion on what is going to happen into tomorrow. I think, as always, I know this sounds pretty cliche at this point, we should expect the unexpected. Now, a lot of people have been talking about the price of AMC possibly seeing that bounce up both maybe today, maybe into tomorrow, maybe into next week. And of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, as I say in every single one of my videos on AMC, can it do well? I do hope it can, and I do think it can. I personally am into AMC. I do believe in it. I think it is going to do well. But I think they're going to try their best to probably make us suffer before that date does come. So I'm expecting more pain before we do actually manage to see that push upwards. And I am personally prepared for it. Now, like I said, do not follow what I do. Do not listen to what I do because it is only my opinion. But yeah, for AMC, if it does start to drop a bit lower, I am possibly, waiting with some funds on the side for if we start to hit 20, if we start to hit lower than that even, because I think anything is possible at this stage. Is it right? Is it legitimate? Not necessarily, but at this point that doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that they are not going to try it. And we found that out over the past year because, again, if we're holding 4 million people, maybe even more than that right now, onto AMC, why do we continue to drop? It just doesn't make any sense. So I don't think they're too bothered about making this one look legitimate or not. I think it's just a case of kind of trying to trick us into believing that the stock is actually dropping. And by the way, if you are in the stream, which I can see some of you are, do drop me a comment down below. I'm just going to drop you guys a comment to say hi. I just want to hear what your opinions are, and if you do have any thoughts, do share them with me. If you have any questions, I would love to hear them and that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're trying to make it fully interactive. Do drop a comment in the comment box. We have one there. Yes, I absolutely agree. This is Daily Dividends, free Charles Payne. Fantastic. What do you guys think of the stream so far? I know it's been pretty crowded, pretty cluttered. It's hard to get a grasp of what is going on. And I know that the screen is a bit cropped, but yeah, it is something that I'm going to work on improving. I know it's a mess, but this is a first stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one tomorrow morning. For me, the evenings is best, so market close. And some days I am more than happy to do perhaps a full day live streaming, i.e. from market open to market close, because in my country, which is the United Kingdom, that is only from the times of something like 2:30 in the afternoon to 9 p.m. in the night. So basically right now, market's just shut, it's 9:01 here. So yeah, I'm more than happy to do days, sometimes night live streams, more than happy to do that as well. But I want to hear what you have to say again. Anything that you can give me a hint on where I can improve, that would be nice, because when it comes to live streams, I do not know what I'm doing. I'm just working through it and hoping that we can at least make it manageable and somewhat enjoyable. Anyway, getting back to AMC, markets just closed as I mentioned. So we're going to notice the trend throughout the day, being as it is fully complete. We want to go on to highlight this one. And yeah, the trend throughout the day. Let's break this one down. Going to zoom down a little bit so you guys can see the full screen. I hope that you can right now. Yeah, we'll have a look. So from the morning, we had a little bit of a rise. Things were not looking too bad, I do believe. So we're going to start off into where we were this morning. And coming into 10 a.m., we of course had that decline that we've noticed, throughout this point. Okay, here we go. We have one comment. Yes, I will like that one if it is possible to do so. Not 100% sure how to do that. But yeah, anyway, coming back to the chart. So mixed day. Really though, from this point that we are seeing around 10:07, I'm going to say, we found our bottom and we're coming back out of that. And you'll see that we actually managed to come up a little bit into the 23s, coming up to 23.50. I was having a look at AMC on my phone whilst I was out today. I'm not too bothered on a daily basis where the price goes, by the way, but now and again, I don't think it hurts to have a look at the price. But yeah, I was having a look at it, and I saw today that we were actually up by about 4%, I believe it was, at one point, and that is this period over here. So we did really well for this morning area, but then we started to drop back down. And as I said earlier on, just a few moments ago, it is that typical tactic that we probably would expect and probably should expect by now, in the sense that we are seeing AMC's price not really move down massively, in a very short period of time. We have seen that in the past, but we're not seeing that here. We're just seeing that steady decline to kind of make it look more legitimate and make it look like nothing dodgy is going on behind the scenes. As I said in my morning video, when we were preparing for today, we know what the data looks like. This is not the 1950s anymore. Anybody can find the data online. We have the internet available to most people, and of course, if you are on the AMC movement, chances are the internet is available to you too. And if the internet's available to you, so is Reddit, so is Google, so is YouTube, so is StockTwits, and so is Twitter. So you have all of the access in the world to all of these platforms, and what the mainstream media says these days, people have the ability to go and verify that, and also find sources that they trust as well as doing their own research. So I think these arguments of trying to kind of build up this idea that AMC is naturally going down is just becoming more and more defunct over time, as we can find the legit statistics, we can find how many times a float was traded over and stuff like that. It gives us a more real indication of what we would expect. And again, I can see that some of you are in the stream. Do make sure to drop me a comment telling me what you want to see in the stream. It's going to be coming to an end soon, simply due to the fact that this was not intended to be too long. It's just a stream to give us a bit of the feeling of what this is like, in the sense that I'm trying to set everything up for you for our next stream, which again may or may not be tomorrow. A few bots in here, which is a little bit annoying. Try and remove them very quickly. Just going to remove these bots. Yeah, perhaps we'll have to get some moderators into these streams as we do start to do them more frequently. But at the moment, I am doing it on a different device. So as I said at the beginning, I have the laptop basically at the side to remove these comments. There we go. So hello, Josie Lynn, I believe it is. Again, this is our first stream. Price doesn't matter from Chris F. Completely agree. I don't like to look at it too much, as I say, but I do think it is important sometimes to reflect on it. Personally, I'm not panicked. I'm not panicked at all. I have some funds on the side, possibly, lining up to buy AMC in the future. But as I say with myself, as I say with everybody, you do have to take care of your life first, in the sense that if you can afford it, if it's some disposable income and you want to buy it, that's up to you. But of course, do make sure you have everything in check first. But yeah, the price doesn't necessarily matter, because as I was saying just a few moments ago, they can make the price do whatever they like, essentially. They can drive it down and all that sort of stuff, but the legit figures behind it, which influence these sorts of numbers, are very clear. They do not lie to the same degree, if you will. So we can find out, like I said, how many times the float was traded over and stuff like that, and just make our own basis of what is going on. So the screen is a little bit cropped, and as I said at the beginning, just working on getting everything set up in this stream. Gonna just see if I can fix this a little bit whilst we are waiting. And again, we're just having a little chat, seeing what's going on with AMC. Just gonna Google this one on my phone quickly and have a look what results I can find. Again, do drop me a comment. I want to hear what you guys are thinking about AMC, both today, recently, especially with the past month, because we've seen this massive decline in price for AMC. So I want to hear what you have to say. And I will be trying to get back to as many of your comments as possible. If you did want to ask me a question in a form of video or anywhere else, this is your time, because of course I'm here to answer anything that you may want to know. Again, if you do want to know anything, I am not a professional, but I can tell you the best of what I know to the best of my ability. So I do want to try help you guys if possible. So do drop me a comment if you can or if you want to. Let's try and get this stream a bit more lively. Again, we're not going to be going on for too long in this one. It was just a bit of a tester to see how it works and if it is going to work fairly well. Should we buy calls for the 21st of Jan? Well, here's my opinion on that. Now, before I do give you my opinion on that, once more, very important to disclose, I am not a financial advisor, but in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I would not be buying calls. So I would not be buying calls for the simple basis, of course, yeah, when calls do work, big profits, of course, and all that sort of good stuff. But when it comes to it, you know, we're seeing the price of AMC continuously being driven down. So if you are looking to buy calls, of course, I would say pick reasonable ones, don't pick stupid ones for obvious reasons, because whilst the Mars could happen today, tomorrow, next week, 21st of Jan, not guaranteed. We would all love to see it happen, but I wouldn't really speculate in that way. For me, personally, again, just my opinion, I would buy the shares. That's what I would do. We don't actually have calls in the UK, or at least on most platforms, but we do have something somewhat similar to an extent. It's a more risky way of trading called CFD. It's something that I've thought about doing with AMC, but really, I don't think I'm going to touch it because, you know, the chances of losing money, for in my opinion, again, do greatly outweigh the potential of making money. So for me, again, I must keep stressing that if I was looking to get AMC or buy calls even, I probably would buy the actual underlying shares rather than the calls. Just my opinions, but there we go. Again, any more thoughts, any more opinions on today, on what we're seeing for tomorrow into the future, I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. I'm going to be giving you guys as many replies as possible. And on top of that, if you do want to join us on Discord, I must stress it is completely free. I'm going to hopefully put a link up in just a second in the comment section and show you guys a link to our Discord. So Discord, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to send you guys a link. Now, once more, it's about stocks. It's completely free. Also, we have a crypto channel in there. You'll know this if you are a long-term viewer. But yes, we do have a Discord, and you can join it for completely free. But yeah, with AMC today, not too disappointed at all. 1% down, 1.3%, not too bad at all. And I think going forwards, we do now have that potential for that trend change. But really, it is still speculative, and I would be urged on the side of caution. I'd love to think that 20 was the bottom for AMC, but whilst I think that the Mars is highly likely, I also think they're probably going to try and make us feel that pain before we do actually get it. So be aware of that. So again, just my opinion, nothing more, but I think it is possible that we could be seeing a drop. And at the moment, I'm just getting that link up for the Discord, invite people. Yep, that's the link. I'm going to send it in the stream right now. So there's the link to our Discord, just been sent in the comment section. Again, completely free to join. It's about stocks. We have a whole AMC channel on there. We have crypto as well, and all that sort of stuff. And crypto, by the way, whilst I am just briefly talking about it, I want to mention crypto because a lot of people seem to think that crypto is related to AMC. And there are some fair arguments to that to an extent, in a sense that people think that the hedge funds basically are selling their crypto to kind of keep shorting AMC. So we've got CoinMarketCap up on your screens. Just going to check if you guys can see that corner. Unfortunately, it is cropped, but I will bring up a few of the crypto charts individually. But you can see the key data as well. On the 24-hour, a lot of key stuff here. So we're looking at things like Bitcoin, which of course, Bitcoin is a big leader in the crypto space when it comes to price action and indicating where prices are going to go. Excuse me. Yes. So Bitcoin kind of does tend to lead the pack. And this one today is dropping by 2%. And in the past 7, it's fallen by about 10%. So we're seeing Bitcoin come down over the past week. We're seeing Ethereum come down over the past week as well. 8%. Binance Coin is dropping too. and a lot of these others are coming down. So again, does this point to the fact that potentially hedge funds are starting to liquidate their positions, whether it be in crypto, whether it be in other stocks, to hold on to their AMC shorts to avoid that margin call? I want to hear what you have to say on that theory as well. Do you think there is any legitimacy in that argument right now? Do you think it is possible that they are selling off their crypto, selling off their shares and other stocks to basically avoid the mass? Because I think it is highly likely right now that they're just kicking the inevitable down the road. And as I said a few moments ago, I think there are some legitimate reasons for that from their standpoint. Now, as I have said, for shorts with AMC, I think it is their problem in the sense that they got themselves into this mess. They could have covered at 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20. Again, we're coming down to 20 right now, but you know, they could have covered at all of these points in history, and they continue to short more over time continuously. And you have to think right now, what is their next move going to be? Because they're not stupid. You know, we can call them dumb money all we like, but these are the biggest, you know, people in this space in the world. They have the best computers, the best algorithms, the best people working for them. And they know what they're doing. And, you know, if we are kind of reluctant to follow these methods, which are going to try to get us to sell, things like forcing the price down quickly, if we're not really playing fool to that, if you will, or at least if we're not playing into that, I should say, of course they are going to be running out of tactics, but yeah, they are going to try all of the tactics, because we already know trading, a lot of it is emotional. If you look at AMC from a statistical basis right now, and you're in for the MOAS, things are looking better than ever. Volume is high for today, so more shares are being bought. Does that mean more synthetics are being created? Possibly it does. And when we consider that, the potential for the mass is getting stronger and stronger every day. And the lower that the price comes, the more shares are being bought by people like me, you, and other retail investors. Because we see this as a cheap price where we can just afford to pump in more money into AMC and buy more shares. As I have always said, if you really are onto any stock, whether it be AMC, whether it be a stable stock like Apple, maybe Tesla, if you've seen it drop and you have the right mentality, you may see it as a sale and an opportunity to buy, whereas others may fear and actually go on to sell their shares. So it is all about the way that you deal with it mentally, the way you prepare for it. It's just about being careful on that front. So again, do continue to drop me your comments down below. I want to hear all of them. Again, going to try to read out everybody's comments. Not going to be too long of a stream today because it is our first shot. Just making sure we're getting everything set up. Hopefully for tomorrow, and if not for tomorrow, into next week. I mean, there's no point really streaming on the weekend for the stocks because obviously they're not trading. So if we don't stream tomorrow, it's going to be Monday probably of next week. And I'm going to try to make this one as frequent as a thing as we can. Because I'm sure you guys will enjoy it once it is thoroughly set up. Right now, I understand, please do bear with me, it's a bit of a mess, but as we do get it, like we did with the actual videos, we will get the hang of it and we will work it out. But again, do keep dropping comments. I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, and what you are doing. What is your plan into tomorrow? Are you going to be buying more shares? Are you going to be selling your shares? I mean, I don't think many people will be. But what are you going to be doing? Are you just going to be holding? And what do you expect for the last day of the week? Because I do believe it is the case that options are expiring tomorrow. I do believe that may be true. And I am going to give you guys a video if that is the case. Because, of course, it is Friday. And we want to have a look at what the figures actually are. Now, we've already seen that big options are coming in for the end of the month. What does this mean for AMC? Well, only time will tell. But really, even with that period from about, I would say, well, people are really saying about the 17th out until the end of the month, so about the 30th, 31st, big options contracts. Does that mean that we're going to see a move in AMC? You guys tell me in the comment section, because I do want to hear different opinions in this stream. And again, I'm just going to work out on getting the visuals a bit more clear as we do go on. So if there are a few silent moments where I do pause, I'm making it a bit quiet in this video in the sense of setting everything up so we don't have to have those awkward moments in the future. So I know it's a bit of a mess like I keep saying, but yeah, it is going to get neater day by day, week by week. So Josie Linneman, again, absolutely fantastic that you keep commenting. And you have commented this time, how high can AMC go to in the MOAS? Now, this is a really divisive question because people don't really know how to answer this one with great accuracy, and it is hard to answer this one with great accuracy. And there's a simple reason for that. We don't know what we are dealing with anymore. How many shares are out there? Are there fake shares out there? If so, how much? How many shares? Is it billions of fake shares? Is it millions? Is it even more than that? What percentage of the actual shareholding is by retail? Is it 80%? Is it 90%? Will it be more than that when the MOAS does kick off? What price is retail willing to sell at? Because as we all know, they can't cover unless we sell. Now, I do not recommend that everybody holds out for the maximum price. I know that's going to be a divisive issue in itself, but as we covered with one of the biggest short squeezes in history, you can have a look at it right now if you wish to, but it is on the channel. It's a video that I made like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's titled something like AMC to 25k. We looked at an example somewhat similar to the situation with AMC, and that was a stock that went up to, I think it was about 25k. Why isn't the SEC doing anything? Very, 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 very good question. Fantastic question. And the simple answer is, we don't really know. Now, with organizations like the SEC, they are quite slow to act. They don't really tend to implement things very, very quickly unless absolutely necessary. So we wouldn't expect big moves from them, just like that in a snap decision. But it is also true that this move with AMC, it's been going on for over a year now. It's the best part of a year for most people. For some, it's slightly over a year, as they will have joined in January of 2021. So it's really getting quite immense now. Why is the SEC not doing anything? I don't know. Some people are pointing to conflicts of interest. We've found a few of those in the past year or two. People working in other places, and the question is, does that go on to skew their beliefs? Does that go on to skew their judgment making decision? That's my question. And again, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I know what goes on in the SEC. I'm not that level of a professional. I'm not a professional at all. But all I'm saying is we found some things, whether it be in the SEC, whether it be in the media, people who kind of have things that could be considered conflicts of interest. And again, does that go on to affect their decision making when writing articles about AMC, when implementing legislation in the case of the SEC, when implementing regulations as well? Does it go on to impact their decisions? I don't know, but it is definitely possible, and that could be one of the reasons why the SEC isn't doing anything. But really, I would say as well, I'm not expecting big moves from the SEC anytime soon. These organisations, I would personally expect them to move more slowly, as they often tend to do. Anyway, so with AMC in the past month now, we're coming down to that low again. I think it is something that we could go on to test tomorrow. That low was just above $20, and I think we could come down to that level again. Now, if we do, is that going to be terrible? Not really. What are we expecting in a worst case scenario? I know this is going to be a pretty bad sounding one, but I am expecting the possibility of a blow below the point of 20, coming down even to 19, maybe even lower than that. And that isn't too bad in my opinion, if we are prepared for it. But this is going to be something that I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about in the media and across different sources. I think we're going to be hearing about AMC. AMC is coming down from its 52-week high. It's coming down from the price point of 72, where it hit that massive, massive spike up. Well, we thought that 15 was our short squeeze, or 19. This was just over a year ago, by the way, at this point. So this was our short squeeze. Oh no, 10 minutes later, this was our short squeeze. I think that is the narrative that they're going to run with now. And the lower it goes, the harder they're going to push it. I think that is what we're going to be expecting. And another thing I'm noticing more and more, and it's really fantastic, because doing this YouTube channel, it gives me a little bit of an insight to what is going on and what the bots, or at least the bears, if you will, are saying about AMC. So I get to see both sides of the coin and what they are saying as far as their argument and their beliefs. I'm going to tell you firsthand from my experience, yeah, a lot of bears have come out quite recently, and they are pretty much all over. All over nowadays. They're on all of the platforms, and their arguments are becoming increasingly weaker, actually. Initially, they did have some fair arguments, but as I have said, with the fundamentals of AMC improving drastically in the past year, those arguments are now becoming worth less. They're becoming worth less than they initially were, but on top of that, they're becoming worthless. They are not worth anything. Because how are you going to talk about the movies being dead when AMC is hitting record figures consecutively? It just doesn't make sense anymore. It's not a narrative they can continue to run with, and that is just my opinion. But yeah, want to hear what you have to say. Keep dropping me your comments as we do go on. I'm currently just checking out what these things on the screen are on my other device, because as I said, it's just about setting everything up ready for the next one. So we have different features over here. Again, it's just about understanding the basis of the stream more than anything. Oh, and there we have a little notification. Anyway, here we go. Another individual here is Never Quilt. I agree with you that we will test 20 again tomorrow, but the rip back up, but will it rip back up? That is the question. Well, fair enough. Fair argument to make, honestly. And this is a way that I see AMC, right? I have a lot in AMC. I'm the first person to say that consecutively. I will be the first person, I should say, to say that. I'm not too bothered about it, in the sense of it is a risk management thing. If I do have the majority of my funds here, it may seem bad. Some people may see it as a terrible investment. But here's my theory on it. I think it's a risk to reward management strategy, as everything should be. What risk am I willing to take, and what reward am I willing to take? Am I willing to see AMC go to the ground? And when I put that money in, I personally was. I was completely fine with that. Am I okay with it now? Fair enough. If it went to the ground right now, I'd be feeling worse, because the company that is actually getting better rather than anything regarding the short squeeze. If anything, the stock should be worth this price, in my opinion, or at least a little bit less, by the actual nature of the business, because they are improving. So I'm more than comfortable to lose on AMC. But for me, I have an average on two. I actually have two accounts. So I have an average on one account is something like $14. So you can imagine I'm still well in the money on that account. And I have another account, and the average on that is something like $30. But I only have something like 70 shares on there, so it's not too bad anyway. But all I'm trying to say is it going to go back down? Personally, for me, I couldn't care less. I knew the risk when I got in. I know the risk now. I'm not too bothered by either of them. But will it rip back up? I don't know. Of course, nobody knows for sure. But I think with the team that we have on side, as in the Apes, if AMC was to go down much lower, serious questions must be asked. Serious questions must be asked, because if this was owned 80% or even 90%, but even if it's only 70%, if it's owned only 70%, very conservative estimate by retail investors, if it's owned only that much, then the price shouldn't be dropping so significantly so often. I gave you guys some really good DD. I think it was from Twitter like 2 days ago. The information I shared was for AMC to come even down from something like 40, 45 down to where it is right now, based on the statistic of retail owning about 80%, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't factually make sense. You should not be able to drive the price down this much. So will it go down more in the future? Yeah, possibly. But really, from a legitimacy standpoint, I think that they are probably in some trouble. And I don't know what is going to be the trigger for the Mars. But if the Mars does happen, and I do think we're going to have a grand one, but even if it's a Mars only to $100, I'm going to give you guys a very, 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 very conservative estimate. If it was a Mars only to $100, which is very low, that would still, for me, have life-changing implications in a positive way. So for me, to lose a couple grand rather than to make significantly more, I do think it is still worth it. And that's just the way that I have approached AMC. Anyway, more questions, do drop them as we go on. Not going to be on the stream for too much longer, but before we do go, I want to sort the screen out because it is getting on my nerves, and it's something that we're going to need to sort for future ones. So I'm going to just make sure that it is a little bit distorted, and of course it is. We're looking at only half of the screen. I'm going to just type in what that is all about. And again, in the meantime, whilst I am still typing this in, feel free to keep dropping comments, drop questions. I know it's been a bit of a hectic stream, but it's the first one that we're doing. We're going to get better over time, and it's something that I'm looking forward to. So drop a comment. It will be read, and I will give you the best of my opinions on that in this short video. So I'm just going to have a look at what it is that is causing the screen to only be half visible. And if anybody does know, do drop me a comment as well, because that would be massively helpful. Right, so I think I'm coming towards the basis of what this is. Just going to quickly try to sort it out. And I think once I do this, if I do this, this may be it for the stream. It's been about an hour actually. It's been quite a long stream. So you have actually streamed, I believe it was about 30 minutes whilst the market was open, 30 minutes whilst the market was closed. Will interest hikes hurt AMC stock? My opinion, my personal opinion, no. I have a simple reason for that. My simple reason is, if this was a stock which was like Tesla, for example, just a random example off the top of my head, would it potentially impact it? Yeah, it could. Because the people who own stocks like that are using it as potentially a hedge against inflation and things like that, or just a bet to make money, and they are more bothered about external factors. People who are in it for the mass are not bothered about what's going on in the wider market, in the wider economy. They're here for those big gains, and I think nothing's really going to dissuade them from that at this point. I think they're strongly enough motivated to mean that the majority of shareholders for AMC will probably not do anything based on really any news that comes out negative about AMC. Yeah, I'm a bull on AMC, as I said. I have a lot, for me at least, invested into AMC. But has there been bad news in the past year? Of course there has. Every single company has bad news now and again. It's not unnatural, it's not impossible. Every company is going to have bad news, it's inevitable. But this news hasn't really gone on to hurt AMC very much. And the good news that we have had has gone on to send AMC up pretty high as well. So it does go to show that people aren't really bothered about the wider. So is Ape Nation still strong? Well, all you need to do to answer that question, if you do have access to it, have a look on StockTwits, which is a site to have a look. It's basically a forum for stocks. We also have, of course, Twitter, and we also have Reddit, of course, Reddit. Go on Reddit, go on Twitter, type in #AMC, #AMC Strong, #HODL, all of these sorts of hashtags, and there is millions of tweets. There's like 3k tweets an hour, and in my country, in the UK, we've seen a few AMC hashtags trending in the past like 24 to 48 hours. So yeah, the movement, I would say, is still very, very strong, and that isn't looking to change anytime soon, which is fantastic. Right, let's have a look at if that does anything. Does that change anything on the screen? I don't think it did, which is not too good. I'm going to have to troubleshoot this one tonight, most likely, in just a little while. Again, this has been an hour of streaming. It's not been the most productive, of course, but we have done a little bit of a stream. We have answered a few people's questions. So yeah, going forward into tomorrow's stream, if we do make one, hopefully it is going to be a bit more quality and a bit more organised. Still just working out this whole screen scenario, which is the most annoying thing to me at the moment. See if that improves anything. Okay, that just does that. Right, I'm starting to get a hang of this one. And we have another comment down here. It just went up $1 to $23.50 now. 23.20. So we're talking about the post hours there. Mr. Never Quit, or Mrs. Yeah, we talk about the post hours, or we talk about what's happened throughout the day, because, yeah, I'd love to give a few opinions on that, but I'd like to know also what time period you are thinking for that one. Right, let's see if this changes anything. Yes, so is that post hours? Okay, this might be it. Just happened. Right, I'll have a look at that on my mobile device. Let's hope that this has fixed the screen. Let's hope it has. I really want to get this fixed. I'm just going to have a look right now. So AMC, will type it in on Market Watch. Yeah, that is actually true. That's very true. Yeah, good point. Never Quit. Fantastic. Thank you for pointing this out. AMC just flown up from about, I would say, about 22.50 roughly, just rocketed up to 23.25, and it is coming back down now. Is this too big of a move? Honestly, I'm going to say no. Now, the most could in all hopes happen tonight. This could be the day for it. But, and it is a big but, I'm not betting on it 100%. I'm not bothered about when it happens. But I think these moves upwards, whilst they are promising, they could also, get people a little bit disappointed by getting their hopes up a little bit too quickly, leading to only more disappointment when it does continue to drop down. So yeah, good move up. Hopefully it does stick. And you know what? If this continues for the rest of the after hours, that could be the most. Who knows? But is it likely to continue? Who knows? So I'm not going to give you guys a date or a time on the most. I have never done that. But all I'm going to say is it probably will come when you least expect it. The price action of AMC in the past 5 days, it's been nothing more than weird, to be honest. It's been nothing more than absolutely strange. It doesn't make any sense. We're on the 5-day, we're coming down day after day after day after day after day. When we see this with a company, we expect bad news, like really bad news, for the price to half in a short period of time. We would want to see some really terrible news for the company. Have we seen that bad news for AMC? No, we haven't seen any bad news. We've not seen any news at all. So why is the price dropping? Doesn't make any sense. So it is, in my opinion, only going to be a matter of time before something happens. We do need to at least see some sort of a bounce upwards. Because this motion, this price action right now, it's not normal. It's just not usual for a stock like this. It just doesn't make sense anymore. I mean, it never really has, but it's becoming more and more clear as time goes on. So I'm still trying to work out this screen thing, but continue to drop comments by all means. I think we're probably going to finish this one in about 5 or 10 minutes. Volume is increasing. Also a great sign, very good sign. We want to see that intense volume. But yeah, the price does need to come with it because volume for today was actually quite significant. Not really big, not Moas level, and certainly not what we saw 6 or 7 months ago. But volume of 50 million for today, it's not too bad. But we are, of course, seeing... we're kind of seeing not too much movement in price, but we're seeing high volume, and I do think that does possibly indicate to manipulation, because I do have a look on a few of the sites, a few of the apps, if you will, at the inflow to outflow figures, and of course on every single app it is different, but I've had a look on like 5 or 6 apps every single day for the past week, and again, maybe one app is bringing it down significantly, but I highly doubt it. All of these apps are showing 50%, so 50 to 50 minimum. So it shows as many people are buying as selling. But really, it's more like 60%, 70% AMC. Basically, 70% of people are buying and the rest are selling. 80% of people are buying and 20% of people are selling. So why is the price keep dropping? And this goes on to the question which was asked again by Josie Lindman. Why is AMC so manipulated? Very, very hard to answer question. It does go back about a year. It all started when this movement did arise. What initially happened is we had the community. Is AMC stock hot in the UK? I would say so, yeah. I mean, there was like a poll, I believe it was, from a very popular trading platform in the UK and Europe, what is the most popular stock on Trading 212. And in most of the countries, you know, the UK, Netherlands, France, Germany, Italy, a lot of these countries, AMC was the most held stock. And if I do have my other phone close, I can tell you how popular AMC is on my particular trading platform, which is 212, and then I'll get back to answering your question about why AMC is so manipulated. Now, it's only a little bit of a basis to understand why things are going on, but we can see how strong the community is for AMC. So we have a community board on this app. Again, it's not the most used, it's not like StockTwits or anything, but it is somewhat popular, and the most followed board on there is penny stocks. It's like penny stocks in general, not any particular stock, just penny stocks. And that's got 72k followers. After that comes HCMC, a penny stock which we covered on the channel quite a lot a couple of months ago. That's got about 40k followers. And then we've got Tesla, and I must reiterate, Tesla, massive company, 41k followers. Dividends, it's a wide topic, it's not actual stock. That's got 40k. We've got 35k on day trading. Anyway, coming down a little bit, AMC's got 26k, so really it is quite popular. It's above things like Rolls-Royce, it's above memes as a category, it's even above the Vanguard S&P 500. It's got 2 times the following on here as the S&P 500 Vanguard fund does have. So yeah, it is popular in AMC, in the UK and also in Europe, that is for sure. Now, coming back to your question on why AMC is so heavily manipulated, well, I think there is some very legitimate arguments as to why. I think it all does start, like you said, about a year ago, when they initially started to, well, or at least when the movement with AMC and GameStop did start. They didn't really anticipate us to continue to hold our shares. So I think what actually happened, and again, I don't work at a hedge fund, I cannot guarantee, but I think what initially happened is they got themselves into a position where they thought, oh, okay, a little bit of illegal shorting, it's not going to hurt anybody, we're probably going to get away with it, and they shorted it, anticipating people are going to get scared and run away. Didn't happen, and they just went in harder and harder and harder and harder and harder, doing everything that they can, news tactics, on the message boards, sending bots out, you know, to scare people away, and it's just not worked. So now they've put themselves into a position, and you have to put yourself into that position as well. Of course, I do not agree with what these hedge funds are doing, but if you are in their position, you're of course not going to want to give up millions, potentially billions of dollars just like that for no reason to a bunch of stupid apes. You're going to want to hold on to that as much as you can. So they're pulling out every single trick in the book, and I think that is why they are doing what they are doing. Once again, it's just my opinion, as I must state, but that is what I do believe. And I'm still trying to sort this screen. It's a lot harder, like on the live stream, because I'm trying to keep it active whilst doing this. So let's see if any of these preview. Okay, let's see, this one might do something. I think we've already tried this one, but yeah, maybe that will do something to reduce or at least fix the size of this. Hopefully it will. It doesn't appear to be doing too much. Just go zoom out and see if it does fix it on the stream real quick. So just bear with me a second whilst we sort this one out. Right, here we go, we'll see if it has fixed it, and it still hasn't done that. So I assume that's something I'm just going to have to work on in a little while, in my own time. So I'm probably going to go live in like 10 minutes again. Don't join it, it's probably going to be private anyway, but there's not going to be anything on it, so don't expect too much. I'm just going to be trying to configure what is going on with this system, because that is the most annoying thing of today's live stream. Again, it's the first one that I've done. I've learnt a lot in the past hour. I've learnt for sure that I need to have some notes on hand, because we need some structure to this. So coming up to this time tomorrow, whether it be the morning stream or the afternoon, I'm going to get some notes up. When the screen is fully visible, that'll make things a lot better. 2370 from Never Quit. Perhaps this is a story that we will go with for a few more moments. Yeah, I'm seeing what you're seeing. I'm on Market Watch. Yeah, massive spikes up with AMC. Again, is this going to be the last tonight? up to 23.80 now. Guys, I'm going to say this one, do not get your hopes up too much. I love AMC. I want the best to happen tonight. That would be ideal. I've wanted it to happen every single night for the past year. I've been on all of the boards. Of course, I've been learning whilst producing YouTube videos with you guys. But I'm not expecting it to happen tonight. But if it happens, if this continues, honestly, never quit. If this happens for the rest of After Hours, we're going to be on a price of something like... Well, we're going to be at a high price by the end of the day, let's face it. And another thing to you guys that stands out to me immediately with AMC's price action is, I'm talking about After Hours actually, I may get this one up. Oh, you can see it right here. So you don't need to see the chart in detail, but this figure is what I'm going to highlight. Look at this, look at these numbers. They're going up 5%, 6%, 10%, and then it's rocketing back down. I'm not saying, yeah, there we go. Let's just dumped off a cliff right now, back down to 22.46. Very, very volatile movements, very questionable what we're seeing right this second with AMC. That is some very dodgy movement. And this is kind of what we would expect in the advent of a squeeze. It's just moved up again to 23.72. I'm not trying to get you guys hopes up too much because, as I said, I don't think it's going to happen tonight. But this is exciting. It's exciting. And After Hours Volume 4 so far, After Hours has been 43 minutes so far. Volume is showing on my device at 1 million. Not bad at all. Now, these erratic price movements, I would expect them in the event of short covering, but does that mean that's what we're seeing in front of our eyes? No, it does not. So don't get your hopes up too much. I must stress that one, but that is what we are going to be seeing. But really, we don't want to see moves of 50 cent, 70 cent, $1, $2. That's not the most. Moves, $2, $5, $10, $50, maybe even $100 or even $1,000 in a few minutes. That's what the most is going to look like. It's not going to be these small moves. And just because we're seeing these small moves now, it doesn't mean that the most isn't going to be starting soon. But I'm just saying, we expect bigger things when the most does actually go on to commence. So really exciting stuff that we're seeing with AMC. Again, it's been quite a short video for you. Well, it's actually been quite long, being as it's a live stream, but it's been shorter than I would have liked it to be. Little live stream for you guys. Hope you did enjoy it. I know it's been a mess, as I keep saying, but it's something that I'm going to be working on improving into the future. Again, I'm going to get my notes ready. I'm going to get everything set up, hopefully by tomorrow or next week. Either way, though, the usual content's still going to be coming at you. Videos going to be out tomorrow, hopefully. So do make sure to join me for them. I hope you guys are enjoying it here. If you are new, by the way, if you've not been subscribed before, please do, because we do make content. It is a lot more structured than this, but this is a sort of thing that we do now and again. So again, do join me in the future. But now I think it is the end of this stream, and I'll be back to see you guys again. Just going to quickly turn it off. So thank you for spending a few moments with me this evening.